We're going to be looking for some number patterns in this exercise. We are asked to find the next three numbers in each of these four sequences. So let's just take them one at a time. And let's look at the first one. The part of the sequence that we're given is 6, 5, 3, 0, and we want to find the next three numbers. So let's just take a look at what we have. To get from 6 to 5, we subtract 1. So 5 is equal to 6 minus 1. Now, going from 5 to 3, we would subtract 2 from 5. So we say that 3 is equal to 5 minus 2. To go from 3 to 0, we subtract 3 from 3. 0 is equal to 3 minus 3. And you can see the pattern that's developing here. Each number is formed from the one preceding it by subtracting something, and we're subtracting in order 1, 2, 3. So it would seem logical that the next number in the sequence would be found by subtracting 4 from 0. We've subtracted 1, we've subtracted 2, we've subtracted 3, and now it's time to subtract 4, and we always start with the number that immediately precedes the one in the sequence that we're looking for. And 0 minus 4 is equal to negative 4. Now, to go from negative 4 to the next number in the sequence, it seems logical that we would subtract 5. So we would have negative 4 minus 5, which is negative 9. And finally, to go from negative 9 to the next number in the sequence, we would subtract 6. Negative 9 minus 6 is negative 15. So we would fill in the sequence with the numbers negative 4, negative 9, and negative 15. Now let's take a look at the next sequence that we were given. This sequence is 4, 10, 6, 2, and again we want to fill in the next three numbers. To go from 14 to 10, we subtract 4. To go from 10 to 6, we subtract 4 from 10. To go from 6 to 2, we subtract 4 from 6. So it seems logical that to go from 2 to the next number in the sequence, we would subtract 4 again. 2 minus 4 is negative 2. And then continuing to subtract 4 to find the next two numbers, we would have negative 2 minus 4, which is negative 6. And we would then take negative 6 and subtract 4. And we have negative 10. So the next three numbers in this sequence would be negative 2, negative 6, and negative 10. Let's take a look at the third sequence. Here we have negative 4, negative 6, negative 9, negative 13, and we want to find the next three numbers. Well, to go from negative 4 to negative 6, what would we do? We would subtract 2 from negative 4. Negative 4 minus 2 is equal to negative 6, this number in the sequence. To go from negative 6 to negative 9, we would again subtract, but we'd subtract 3 this time, because we know that negative 6 minus 3 is equal to negative 9. To go from negative 9 to negative 13 in the sequence, we would have to subtract 4 from negative 9. And we can see the pattern that we have here. Each number is formed by subtracting a number from the one that precedes it, and the numbers that we're subtracting in order are 2, 3, 4. So it would seem logical that we would subtract 5, 6, and 7 in order to find the three missing numbers here. And let's do that. We'll start with negative 13, and we'll subtract 5 this time. We get negative 18. Now we'll take the negative 18, and the next number that we would subtract would be 6. Negative 18 minus 6 is negative 24. And finally, we would start with negative 24, and this time we'll subtract 7, the next number after 6. So we get negative 31 for that difference. And then these are the three numbers that we would fill into the sequence: negative 18, negative 24, and negative 31. And the fourth and final sequence has the numbers 8, negative 4, 2, negative 1, 0.5, and again we want to fill in the last three. Well, let's just take a look at what's happening here. To go from 8 to negative 4, we divide 8 by negative 2. 8 divided by negative 2 is negative 4. To go from negative 4 to 2, we would divide negative 4 by negative 2, and that would give us 2. To go from 2 to negative 1, we would divide 2 by negative 2. That gives us negative 1. To go from negative 1 to 0.5, we would divide negative 1 by negative 2. We would get 1/2, or 0.5. So it looks like to find the next three numbers, we start with 0.5 and divide it by negative 2, which gives us negative 0.25. Then we would take this number and divide it by negative 2. Negative 0.25 divided by negative 2 is 0.125. And finally, we would take this number and divide it by negative 2. 0.125 divided by negative 2, and when we do this division, we get a negative number, negative 0.0625. So these are the three numbers that will fill in the next three places in the sequence. Negative 0.25, 0.125, and negative 0.0625. And that finishes the next three terms of the sequence.